Hey guys, what's up? It's Phoebe from Alternative Twist Radio. Today we have singer-songwriter Eric Klein joining us on our interview. Welcome, Eric.
Thanks for having me, Phoebe. Really appreciate it. Great opportunity to meet you and talk to everybody.
Yes, I'm so happy you're able to come on today. And you're a local musician from San Diego, Escondido area, right?
Right. I've been here for quite a few years, maybe 20 years. Moved down from the LA area, and I've been performing for most of that time. And these days I perform in two bands that play all the time in North San Diego County.
Why did you start playing music, and what got you interested?
Oh God, I mean, when I was a little kid, I think the first thing that got me interested is just hearing songs like by the Beatles, songs with great melodies. I think got me hooked first, and then my older brother he started bringing in records and things like the Allman Brothers and Led Zeppelin. You know, just all the great British rock and the top 40 music of the time. And I think the final thing that got me into I have to do this was when I started seeing people actually playing music. You know, when I saw people actually playing the guitar, it was like something magical to me, you know, when I was a kid. So I didn't actually start playing until I was probably 14 or 15 years old, but it all built up from when I was, 6 or 7, I think, an interest in music. Yeah. So that's how I got started. And then I just got myself a guitar, got a couple books of chords. I'm a self-taught musician, and started learning some, just the concepts of music, how things worked in a basic way. And then at some point I was listening to the music that I loved, and a light bulb went on at some point, and I realized that I could start figuring out things that I heard on my own. And once I started doing that, then it was just kind of off to the races. Started playing with other people, and you learn when you start playing with other people, you learn a lot too. And when you first I started playing with just one person, and then when you start playing with a band, that's a whole different kind of experience. You have to learn how to blend with people. And so it's it's a process of learning, and it continues today.
It's definitely a lifelong process, getting to know how to work with different types of personalities. And even now I'm still learning, and still learning about myself and other people, because no one person is the same. Everyone has their different little quirks and life experiences. And as a musician, I mean, I'm not like a professional musician, but as an artist like yourself, I'm sure you're learning, and every different situation, brings on different outcomes. That's a beautiful thing.
Everyone that you play with can teach you something, really. Mm-hmm. You can learn something from everybody. And it's not even, not only other guitar players, but people that play different instruments can teach you things too. I've found that to be very true over the years.
I was reading in your bio that you live in different parts of the country. So how did that influence your musical development, your musical career?
I think it had a big influence, actually, and a good influence. I grew up in upstate New York, and in the 1970s, basically, is when I started playing. And that environment, where I grew up, it was very, classic rock oriented. At least my friends and myself, that's what we listened to. So I got a big dose of that right off the bat. The British rock, Southern rock, just all American American rock. But then when I moved to Florida to go to college, and that was there was still a classic rock, but when you go to a university town, you get so many different influences. People are coming from all over the country. They have just different points of view, and they have different musical tastes. And there's the music that grew up from that place where you're at, that came from the land there. So I was exposed to real blues music. My roommate, who's I have to thank him, because he was a guy from some town in Maine, and he brought all these records that I had never listened to before. The Grateful Dead, and I was listening to the Grateful Dead, and it was like, wow, these guys are really good. And I didn't really know them, at that time. Boy, that Jerry Garcia, he's good, So I started getting interested in that music, blues, acoustic blues, ragtime, which was more local kind of thing. I met some people that were interested in that kind of music. So, and of course, the alternative rock of the college rock of the 1980s was coming on. REM and bands like Talking Heads, bands like that, that was developing, so that was really good too. So I lived in Florida for 6 years and absorbed that. Then I moved to Colorado, and that was a completely different thing. So you take what you've learned from these different places and you bring it to your new place. Now Colorado was different. The first thing I did when I moved to Colorado was I got involved with a country band, and I didn't know anything about country music, right? And this was classic country, like the really good stuff, Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, that kind of music. And I brought this kind of rock and roll blues approach to this country band, and people, they really liked it. It was different, but I learned that I learned a lot about that music, and I incorporated that as well into my playing and just into my taste for music and songwriting, because they're great songs. Those old country songs are fantastic songs. And I lived there for 6 years, and then I moved to California. And I think when I moved to California, it wasn't so much about getting all the influences. I had absorbed a lot of different music, different styles, but it was kind of putting it all together and trying to learn how to be a good songwriter and a good, a consistently good performer. That's what I was really looking for when I moved to California.
Can you tell me about what you learned about working in the studio?
I learned a lot. Studio, yeah. I mean, when I first started recording in commercial studios or with people that I knew that, I hired to record myself, that was great. And I learned a lot, and I came out with some good recordings of songs. But I realized that as a musician, I would listen to what I played back, and I was on a limited budget. I was going to college and school and everything. So I couldn't just stay, be paying people hour after hour after hour. So I realized when I listened to the recordings that there was so much more that I could do as far as orchestration and arrangement with a lot of my songs, and that I wanted to do and that I heard in my head. So what I decided to do is get my own stuff and record myself, So this is back in the 1980s. So I saved up all my money and spent it all on a 8-track, reel to reel, and a 2-track mix down deck and a mixer, and I had some rack mount effects from just playing in bands. and stuff, and some PA equipment that I could, you know, amplifiers and things like that. And I of course had guitars and guitar amplifiers. So, and I bought a nice microphone to record vocals and acoustic guitar. So I put it all together, and I started recording by myself, you know, but I could take my time. I got a drum machine, you know, so I had, you know, could loop some drums, but I could take my time and experiment and figure out how to, you know, orchestrate things. Over the years, I learned a lot about that. And then, you know, when the 90s come and you put the old analog stuff, you know, sell it off to someone who's willing to buy it, and then you go to the digital. So right now, all I do is, if I'm recording something, I haven't been doing much recording in the last year, when, you know, the whole lockdown and everything, that was an opportunity to record a lot, you know, so I did some recording then. But now I've been just playing. I wanna play live.
So many of our musicians, that's what they did over the last 2 years, and so they utilized the time to learn new technology and perform, you know, all DIY. And I love seeing the remote performances with multiple people. And that, to me, when I first saw that, it was a high school band performance. And there were like 50 kids or 25 kids, you know, you see the little clips, but in like a Zoom meeting. And I was so enthralled when I was watching it from home. And I was like, man, what are they coming up with? And sure enough, more and more performances in-house was happening like that. And then TikTok blew it up, YouTube, you know, so that's an awesome thing to see, that musicians are still evolving even with the, you know, the lockdown. So I love seeing that. It's very, very fun to see.
I have a friend, one of the guys in my band, I have to give him a plug. His name is Ed Bean. He's in one of my bands called Cadillac Fringe. During the lockdown, he did a series of songs. They were cover songs, but he would be out in his backyard, and he's really good with recording. And he plays guitar and keyboards and sings great. And he did, I don't know how many of these videos of all these classic songs. And he played all the parts, but then he would be out for the video part of it. He would go out in his backyard, set up his keyboard and his guitars, and he would edit it all. And his dogs would be roaming around, and his cats, and you know, it was great. Yeah, he did a fantastic job with that.
You talked about a little bit playing gigs, and you know, can you tell me where your fans can see? And you told me you were in 2 bands, right? Where can they see you perform?
In North San Diego County, we play at places like the Kraken in Cardiff. We play at Mr. Peabody's. Both of my bands play, FreeMartin and Cadillac Fringe play at Mr. Peabody's. That's in Encinitas. We play at Tony's in Oceanside, Tony's Sports Bar at Oceanside, Ringers in Bonsall. Cadillac Fringe plays at Temecula Wine and Beer Garden in Temecula. That's kind of towards where you are.
Yeah, that's relatively close.
Yeah, we play there maybe every other month. We'll play there. We played at a place in Poway called Mainstream Bar the other night. It worked very well. We'll be back there. Maillard Live in San Marcos. Both of my bands play at Maillard Live. Aztec Brewery, which is a great venue. Want to give those guys a plug. That's in Vista. There's Jacked Up Brewery in Escondido. Yeah, Comstock. That's an old bar in Escondido that is starting to have the music back. So, and I think we're playing down in San Diego, a place called Aquarius down in San Diego. We're going to start playing. Cadillac Fringe is going to start playing there at the end of the month. It's our first gig there.
Very nice. I'm glad both of your bands are so busy performing and playing gigs. You know, that's what we need now, is people getting out again and listening to live music.
Another one I want to plug is we do a drum circle. FreeMartin does this drum circle gig, and this is really cool. We do this at Aztec Brewery, and I want to say our next one is May. It's on a Sunday afternoon, but I think it's May 20th or May 22nd, right around there. Sunday afternoon from 1 to 4, and FreeMartin is kind of the house band, and we play these jam kind of songs, Grateful Dead and Santana and things like that.
So why don't we take this time and watch the music video that you sent over. You were performing with your band, FreeMartin, right?
Hometown, Main Street, double yellow line running between. One-way safe leads back home, the other way will be on our own. Darling, do you want to chase a dream? It's time to chase a
was a great video. Thanks so much, Eric.
Thank you. Hi, this is Eric Klein with the local San Diego County bands Cadillac Fringe and FreeMartin. You've been listening to Alternative Twist Radio.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please share, like, and subscribe to our channel, and find us on all of our social media, links in our bio. Thanks.